All right, so I am adjusting my black shadow versions there. I'm going to take that shape and I'm going to warp it a little bit individually. I want something kind of like that. So all these compositing techniques we learned come in handy, even though we're making our own images now, not working with other people's pixels. Okay, now of course you can always just go in and paint as well with your solid white and black. And it's good to have a pressure sensitive brush with 100% hardness and 100% flow and 100% opacity at this stage. So you can get the control you want. And you can do that same thing with your eraser. 100% opacity, 100% flow, 100% hardness, pressure sensitive brush. Then you can kind of cut out. But it's not going to be as clean as Illustrator, and it shouldn't be. This is just the coloring. And being a perfectionist is for your second time doing this, not your first. If I was a perfectionist, I would use an elliptical marquee tool, find the curve I want, move it into the place, nudge it there, and then delete. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. Now the reason this is tricky is because it's not hidden by line work, right? These are decisions I'm making within it. So I'm just trying to get the shapes I want to feel as smooth as the vector line work and to support it. And that can be tough. But I think that works pretty well. Okay, so I think I might want to add one more highlight. So I'm going to lock my black layer, go to my highlight layer, unlock it, and I'm just going to add a little bit of a highlight to the tail. And again, I'm using the lasso for this. And there's a bunch of ways I can work with that. I can actually go to my flat color layer and select just that part and duplicate it to unlock it. And then select it so I don't have to worry about what came out and fill that with white. And then, of course, I can use warp to modify it. Especially for a curve like this, that might be a good way to go. Goes kind of thick and thin on the edge. And then to make sure I haven't lost anything on the outside, I can use my magic wand around the empty space and then delete that to clean it up. You see, so everything's clean. I might want a little white highlight now on that secondary tail. So there's just lots of little details that are going to make it work. And it's not a huge deal if I go outside the lines. As long as I know what layer things are on, how I can manipulate them later. See, so how do I fix it? I go to my line work layer, select outside, and then I go to the layer I was on and I delete from it. Maybe one more really skinny one. Maybe one on the other side too. Now, because I have my flat colors in, I no longer need that other one to reference. The older Nico file to kind of steal coloring from. But I might want some other inspiration to reference. And so I found some Pokemon that have these colors, these kind of blue and green colors, which are difficult to work with, to be inspired by. Okay. But in order to be able to use them, I have to open them up in Photoshop. So here's Bulbasaur, here are some greens. This is a smooth-edged, a soft-edge gradated Bulbasaur. Maybe I want to use that, maybe not. Here's a cut-edge Bulbasaur. I like those colors a lot. So I think I want that. I'm going to put it next to mine. This one I'll close for now. Got a Squirtle, so we got some blues, nice soft-edge blues. Here are the cut-edge blues, which are pretty nice. Here are some bird ones, some blues and greens. That one I don't like. That one I don't like. That one I don't like. But it shows kind of, actually, let's see. Yeah. So I'm going to find a few that are useful. I'm going to line them all up. Then I'm going to go to my original, which has my name, right? Make sure it's showing, and I go Window Arrange, and now I'm going to say 6 up. That's as many as I can show at once. And I can use my arrangement here and make my, it's got to get it right on. Make my screen a little bit bigger. Oh, that is tough. There we go. And now I can steal colors from any of these. And I can still use my shortcuts to zoom in and out. And I want Bulbasaur maybe in here. So I can see these colors a little bit better. All right, so now let's try some of that. So with the blues and the gradated blues, I love that. So I'm going to steal it directly. But I'm going to keep my same flat color. So first, let me combine my white highlights into one layer. Command E and then lock it. Let me lock my flat color. So this is what I have right now. And this is a good opportunity to show a different background color too. So instead of background white now that I have all my flats in, I'm going to change that to a gray. Fill in a 50% gray background and lock that. And that will help me make my further coloring decisions. You see how everything's filled in. So with the dark blue, actually like this, now I'm going to split my flat colors into duotones. And the way I like to do that is to take my flat color layer and make a duplicate of it. Just Command J. And then I'm going to rename it Duotone Color. And instead of copy, I'm going to call it Duotone Color Light. Because duotone is when you split your local colors into a lighter and darker version. Then I go to Image Adjustment. There's lots of ways you can do this, but this is what I like. I go to Levels, and I'm going to push the midtones lighter. See that? Then I am simply going to erase away where I don't want the highlights. But I think I'm going to replace this color a little bit of my duotone lighter with this color. So how do I steal a color? I use my paint bucket, I hold down Option, steal it from there, drop it in. And I might steal this, drop it into here. Oops. Yeah, I like that. So this is not replacing my flat color, because I'm keeping a lot of my flat colors. I'm just refining them. There we go. Making them actually a lot less saturated. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. Okay, so now I can erase away, and I have to decide, do I want it to be cut edge or do I want it to be, I'll make a duplicate just so I can show you the difference. So first I'll do a cut edge version, or hard edge, and there I would use, just like I did with my white highlights, I would use my lasso, whoops, I'll make sure I only have one layer open. I'm going to use my lasso, and I'm going to select where I think the highlights should be, like on the belly right here. And I'm going to cut out the shadows. I can hold down Shift and extend my selection. Cut out shadows. So I want a little rim of reflected light there, but I definitely want a shadow under the wing. And then I definitely want a shadow under the neck as well. Kind of like that. So I've selected that, now I can just delete it. And you'll see that the colors come through. So that would be cut edge. And cut edge is pretty common in animation. You can see it there. But it's hard to make it as smooth as I would want it. But I could work on it. And just kind of cut away from my soft shadows here. Where else might I want shadows? Like behind the foot, probably. Right there. Underneath the talons and the bottoms of the feet. Right here. So you can be pretty adventurous with this. And I'm just hitting delete after. Because I'm just cutting out shadows and thus revealing duotone highlights. And again, light logic is helpful, but you're also just doing what looks good. Doesn't make sense to have highlights go between toes, but if it looks good, it helps kind of turn the form, then I'm all for it. Or I might have to go a different way with it. Add the shadow. All these compositing skills come in handy.